Hey, Donnie Smith here, and welcome to my DIY auto body and paint channel. On this channel, we do body repair, paint cars. You're going to learn how to do some installs. Heck, we're even working on a jet boat. In this video, we're going to show you how we've made this Jeep look like this to this using SEM Bedliner. Now, this is the longer version where we're demonstrating how to do this, and it's a little bit longer. If you're wanting just the steps we took, there's no demonstration, just the steps. I've got a short version of this video, and if you go down in the description, there's a link there to that video. You can click that and watch that. And down in the description, we also have a PDF file if you want to download the steps we took, so that you can print them. So kick back for a few minutes and watch the steps we took to bedline this Jeep. And of course, the first step is to clean the bed real good. You're going to do that using some soap and water, to wash the bed out, to remove the contaminants. If you got a pressure washer, you can use that. That works well. But you want to wash it out and clean it real good, and then wipe it down with some wax and grease remover or some type of cleaner to remove all the contaminants, silicones, and things like that. Now, we've already done that, so we're going to go ahead and move to step 2. But don't forget this step. It's very important. And step 2 is to sand the surface that's going to be bedlined. You can do this using 180 to 220 grit sandpaper, or you can get this bedliner brush like we have here. But we found this brush to work real well for this application, and we also found using a lower RPM, about 1,000 RPM on a polisher, worked the best for us. Now on this Jeep, we already had this prime. We had this sandblasted, and then we epoxied everything just to keep it from rusting till we got to this point. So this is prime, but if you're sanding a bed, getting it ready, you'd do it the same way as you would sand that bed with this brush or with the sandpaper. Scuff it up to give it good adhesion for the bed liner to stick to. And step 3, we're going to scuff this with a maroon scuff pad, a Scotch-Brite. And this is just to get all the hard to get areas in the edges that you can't get with the sandpaper or with the brush, the abrasive brush. And you want to do this just to make sure that everything is sanded well and has good adhesion. If you don't have good adhesion somewhere, you have a chance of that peeling. Just like with any paint and refinish process, we'll always follow the sanding with scuffing to make sure everything is sanded good. And after we get it all sanded and scuffed, we are just going to clean this out. We're going to blow it with some compressed air, or you could use a vacuum cleaner to suck the dust out, but we need it clean so that when we go to masking, the masking tape will stick. If it's real dusty and has dust all over the place, the masking tape is not going to stick to the surface. And step 5, we are going to mask the areas that we don't want the bed liner to be sprayed on. There's quite a bit of overspray with this bed liner, so you want to make sure that you cover everything up. And see, there's a lot of holes on this, and may not have this many on a bed, but on this Jeep we had a lot of holes. And things like this gear shifter, there's a trick to that. We did not have any, but aluminum foil works well. When you're going up the poles, or if you're talking about like wire looms, things like that, you can get some aluminum foil and just kind of squeeze it on there, and rather than taping it up like this, because masking it up like this takes longer, and then when you go to unmask it's a little more difficult too. But we didn't have no aluminum foil, but that's just a tip to keep in mind. And then we just outlined the whole vehicle where we're going to break it at, the bed liner. Basically on this, just the whole inside is going to get bed lined, and so we have to mask the entire outside surfaces off so we don't get overspray on there. And if we did, it's not painted yet. We'll be doing that soon, but it just saves a lot of time from having to clean up overspray from the bed liner. So we go around, outline the surface, put some masking paper down, and then next we will come back with some plastic and cover the rest of the vehicle of the Jeep. And also notice on the side of the walls there, the curtains, I have some of that plastic hung there too, because this bed liner, it will spray pretty far. If you go up past that lip when you're spraying, it may hit the wall a little bit, so it may be a good idea to put plastic around the sides of where you're going to be spraying the bed liner. And so now we're getting the plastic and we're covering the entire Jeep. And we'll just spread it out. And this is just plastic that we use for covering cars all the time. I think this is made by PPG. 3M makes it. A bunch of people make the plastic, but it basically spreads out and will cover the entire car. And then once we have it spread out the way we want it, we can cut this and then tape the plastic to the paper, and now we won't have any areas on the entire Jeep that will get overspray. Another thing I didn't mention, I don't know if you can see it now, but we had some smaller holes that's hard to mask. And if you have threaded holes or anything like that, you want to make sure that you cover those, because you don't want bed liner to get inside of those threads. What we do is we use earplugs. And we'll squeeze the earplugs, push them in that hole, and the earplug will expand, and that will protect those threads from getting bed liner on it. Because if you get bed liner in there, it's going to be very difficult to get your bolts back in. So we are cutting the plastic now, getting it ready. And don't get in a hurry in this step. I know masking is not the funnest task. It takes some time, but it is very important, to keep everything from getting overspray on it. Now step 6, once we have it all masked off, now we're ready to do our final clean. We're going to wipe it down one more time. SEM makes a product called SEM Solve, which works good for this. It's just a prep cleaner, or any other approved wax and grease remover will work. But be sure that you have the surface completely clean, all contaminants removed, silicone removed, and this will eliminate a lot of problems. I know with paint it can cause fish eyes. I'm not sure with the bed liner, but it could cause adhesion problems. Just a lot of problems that you can eliminate real fast just by properly cleaning this surface and having it ready for the coating. And just like with any paint job, I'll mention that it's all in the prep. It is very important, and I really recommend not to skip through or rush through these steps. And step 7, if you have any bare metal spots where you sanded through, that's going to need to be primed with some epoxy or some direct metal primer surfacer. And then you need to allow it to dry the recommended time, and then sand those spots with 220 to 180 to provide the adhesion. Now they do point out in their technical data sheet not to use self-etch primer. I think the acid in it will react with the bed liner, so do not use self-etch primer. And then once you have your spots primed, your spots that was metal, like I said, just scuff them up and then re-clean the surface, wiping it down with the wax and grease remover, and then you're ready to spray your bed liner. Now on this Jeep was a little bit different than your bed will be. We already had it epoxied, so we just went ahead and epoxied the entire thing again to make sure that all that bare metal was covered, that sandblasted metal, and then we came back and prepped it and got it ready for the bed liner. But probably if you're doing a pickup bed, you're probably not going to have to worry about having so many metal spots. Just a few spots you're probably going to sand through. But unless you have a lot of rust in there, you'll need to get all that out. Otherwise, just prime the spots, sand them, clean it, and then you're ready for the bed liner. Okay, step 8, we are going to shake the catalyst and the bed liner coating separately. The directions said to shake them for about 2 minutes. And then we're going to mix 6.5 ounces of the catalyst to the quarts. It comes with 4 quarts. You're going to mix 6.5 ounces to one of the quart containers for your first bottle that you're going to spray onto the surface. Now we got the rocket liner kit, and this comes with everything you need. It comes with 4 quarts of the coating, the catalyst, a quart of catalyst. It comes with the gun to spray it with and a measuring cup. And then all you have to do is screw the tube onto the gun, that goes down in the bottle, and then put an air regulator on the end of it, and the gun's ready to go. And the gun will fit straight into the quart cup when you go to spray it on. Now we are shaking the containers, the bed liner, and the hardener for 2 minutes like the directions said, just to get it ready, and then we'll start mixing and pouring the products together. So here's the measuring cup. You pour 6.5 ounces into this cup, and then once you have 6.5 ounces poured out, you will open the lid to the bed liner, pour it in there, and then stir it up. And be certain to always close the lids on these so it doesn't get spilt accidentally while in between containers that you're mixing up bed liner coatings. So we'll keep the lid on. Now we've got that open, and we'll pour the 6.5 ounces of catalyst into the container. There's enough room in there for the 6.5 ounces of catalyst. Pour that in there, stir it up, and we are ready to start spraying this bed coating. And step 9, before we start spraying, we need to attach the gun to the quart, and we need to set the pressure. Now they recommend anywhere between 45 and 60 psi, and I recommend that you experiment like we are here, because that is going to determine the texture of the product. So try 45 and 65 and see what texture you like the best. And now to the part you've probably been waiting for, and that is applications. They recommend applying 2 to 3 coats, light coats. They really stress the light coats, and you need to wait 15 minutes between each coat. Now they really stress not to put this on too thick to make sure that it is light coats, because if you put this on too thick, too fast, too soon, it's going to cause you a lot of problems. So yeah, be sure and just put 2 to 3 light coats, allowing each coat to set for 15 minutes. Dry 15 minutes before you apply the next coat. Now the application on this Jeep probably is going to be a little different than a truck bed. We can get to all this from the outside without having to get in. Now in a truck bed, it's probably going to be better if you jump in the truck bed and do the sides, put a coat on the sides, allow it to dry for 15 minutes, and then do another coat on the sides, and then come back and spray the bottom, to separate time. And that'll make it a lot easier to get in and out of the pickup. Well, if you sprayed the bottom, you wouldn't be able to get in and out of it until it dried. So that would make it a lot easier for a pickup. But like I said, on this Jeep, we was able to just get to all of this from the outside. And as you see, you hold back pretty far and this stuff sprays on. And like I said, on this first coat, you don't want it fully covered. On the instructions it said, you want to be able to see through it just a little bit so that it can breathe until you get the next coat on. So I think light coats is key. I think they may have had some problems with lifting or different problems if you're trying to put it on too thick, or maybe it doesn't dry like it should. It might trap some solvents in there where it can escape. So don't try to put this stuff on too thick. Now I think generally on your truck beds, one kit should do it. One kit did this when we had a little bit left over, and we put 2 coats on the entire inside of this Jeep. And as you'll see here in a little bit, it looks really, really good. Turned out really good. But a lot of angles on this Jeep. On a truck bed, it's more square. I probably wouldn't have this much trouble, but he's getting up under the dash and he's getting the different sides of the shifter, and we've got a lot of angles, making it a little bit more harder than a pickup bed would, but it's all worth the effort here. Now I wanted you to see this full process of the spraying itself. I didn't want to edit any of this out, so I'm just going to give you a few minutes to watch this video as he puts his first coat on. And after he gets the first coat applied, I will be back. Okay, we got the first coat applied and we allowed it to dry at least that 15 minutes flash time that they recommend. And now we're coming back with the second coat. Now one thing I would like to mention that I didn't mention during the first coat is you do want to be in a well ventilated area and wear a respirator. We are in a prep booth which has fans, that helps suck out the overspray. So be sure that you're in a well ventilated area when you're spraying this. Now he's coming back with the second coat. Going to basically follow the same process, putting on a light coat, not getting it on too heavy in any one spot. And we get this done and we will be done with this bed liner. Now, one final step, step 11, you want to unmask it. You want to do this immediately after you're done spraying, because if this stuff starts hardening up on you, it's going to be very difficult to unmask. So as soon as you're done with that final coat, start unmasking and then allow it to dry 48 hours. Now, I'll put some links down in the description with a PDF where you can print the steps that we took. Also have that short version video, have some information about these different products that we use. So be sure and click down in the description area to learn more information. So there you have it. If you're wanting to spray inside of a Jeep or a Bedliner, there's the steps we took. And soon I'll be coming up with another video where I'm spraying the inside of a boat with an SEM product called marine coating. As always, thanks for watching these videos. If you haven't subscribed to our DIY Auto Body and Paint channel, be sure and check the channel out and subscribe to us. Also, if you like this video, we'd really appreciate it if you gave us a thumbs up, give us a like. Thanks again for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.